Don't even breathe.
Hey, what's up everyone? Paul from Grindhouse Funhouse. I didn't want to finish off 2023 without talking about Judgment Night, one of my favorite survive the night / wrong turn, wrong place, wrong time movies, which came out 30 years ago back in October. It's a gritty urban thriller starring Emilio Estevez, Stephen Dorff, Cuba Gooding Jr., Jeremy Piven, and Denis Leary that is much more known for its legendary soundtrack, which I'll talk about later, than the movie itself, so let me school you on it. It's about 4 suburban men who are on their way to a boxing match, gets jammed up in heavy traffic, and decide to take the first exit they find to get to the venue on time. Instead, they are driving lost in Chicago's gangland and witness a brutal murder. They are relentlessly hunted down by the gang leader who committed said murder, who doesn't want any witnesses while they are trying to find help in the middle of nowhere. Simple enough plot to get going. The first 20 minutes of the movie is setting up who the characters are, which opens up on an idealistic white suburb where we see businessmen going to work, moms and their babies just walking about, and then we meet our protagonist, Frank, played by Emilio Estevez, a married man with a newborn baby who settled down from his wilder past. Also there is younger brother John from One Assumes Another Mother, played by Stephen Dorff, who's impulsive and hot-headed. Mike, Frank's best friend, played by Cuba Gooding Jr., ex-college football star, who hasn't got much going on since. And Ray, played by Jeremy Piven, who already looked over 40 when he was only 26 at the time. You know, he just needed to find the right toupee.
Fuck you!
A brash, cocky, we think has it all together guy, but it's all just a facade, who rents out a luxurious RV for them to ride in style to the match. That's as much as we know about them. Then the wrong turn happens, and it's as if they went through a portal to another dimension, an apocalyptic hellscape where everything's so desolate and run down that it's pretty much a destitute residential neighborhood. Fun fact, this was shot only 10 minutes away from the Cabrini Green housing projects in Chicago around the same time as Candyman shot their movie there, so this was a reality. I mean, maybe it wasn't that destitute if they managed to put posters to advertise the release of Dr. Giggles in theaters. However, the real catalyst of the story is that they hit someone who's running away from his street gang, but they don't know this yet, and being the good Samaritans that they are, they try to help him out, which ends up backfiring on them when the gang catches up to him, and Fallon, the gang leader played by Denis Leary, kills him and wants no witnesses left alive. Another big aspect of the movie, which I very much appreciate, is the atmosphere and mood that's being created, and that's coming from director Stephen Hopkins, who had just come off directing Predator 2, which was another movie set in a violent urban jungle, it being LA, and here being Chicago, so we already had a flair for this kind of setting. Stephen Hopkins definitely has a great eye for visuals, and give this, let's be honest, run-of-the-mill fare an extra boost. Being that 90% of this movie occurs at night, he gives those rooms a sort of gothic look. It has this yellowish hue, which gives that everything is lit up by streetlight look. Also, he's a big fan of the split diopter shot, which, if you don't know what that is a lens you put on the camera so that it captures 2 subjects at different distances in the frame at the same time and in focus. It's used quite a few times here to good effect. Another creative touch I noticed is the almost constant sound of the wind whistling in the background. Another nice little touch, the movie captures really well that creepy, unsettling feeling and atmosphere of being out at 3 a.m. in the part of time you shouldn't be in, walking back home with no one around, or so you think, where you don't know what's out there. The standout performances in Judgment Night are from Denis Leary and Jeremy Piven. Leary plays it big as the hot-headed gang leader. You can tell he relishes every moment of violence and aggression he inflicts on them. When he makes his first entrance, you can feel the movie making a tonal shift and you know they're in deep shit. It's basically Denis Leary's comedy act at the time, transposed as a violent thug and leader of an Irish gang, cracking wise and be all menacing while doing it. It's definitely one of my favorite performances of his. There's a good line of dialogue he says to a kid in another gang trying to get info out of him that set up Leary's character nicely and know that he's not to be trifled with.
Man, if I want your money, I'll take it,
No,
man.
you can't take my money. But you can take my money. Go ahead.
Money got blood on it, man.
You ever see any that didn't?
Also cool to see Everlast from House of Pain, which of course they appear on the soundtrack. and Zed from Pulp Fiction as his fellow gang members. I think this is where Jeremy Piven perfected his cocky, self-assured, arrogant character with Ray. On one hand, he thinks he's above it all, don't want to deal with any of these people.
You really think one of these freaks are gonna let us use their phone?
These freaks are our neighbors, Ray.
Well, not my neighbors, man.
But he's also a coward who had a chance to get the police in on their situation, only to lie about not being able to get a cell phone signal, as to not get into trouble with hitting the guy with the RV, which pretty much fucked everyone over. He'll also go to Emilio Estevez's character and ask him to protect him above anyone else in the group.
Listen to me. Don't leave my ass down here, okay? This is hell.
You can do this, man. You can do this.
You take care of me. I'll give you anything you want.
All I want is for you to move your ass. We're gonna make it, man. All of us.
He's scared, and the only thing he thinks will save him is his money, which doesn't end too well for him.
It's a shame about Ray.
Frey's little brother, who we see him being young and in your face at the beginning of the movie, ends up being the most scared and sensitive of the bunch.
I'm really scared.
Cuba's character is all about macho bullshit and trying to be a hero, which works some of the times, but not all of the time. Something that's a bit of a breath of fresh air is that there's nothing exceptional about Emilio Estevez's character, Frank. He's just an ordinary guy in a shitty situation. He doesn't have any particular set of skills. He does the best he can to survive a terrible night. This was one of Emilio Estevez's last leading male role before he went on to mostly directing. You can't talk about Judgment Night without talking about its soundtrack, which not only was one of the biggest soundtrack of the 90s, most people that owns it probably never seen the movie it came from. It was a game changer for rap and rock colliding, not the first time it happened, but hearing the biggest hip-hop and metal artists of the time that got to collaborate together, like Helmet and House of Pain, Slayer and Ice-T, Sonic Youth and Cypress Hill, and two of my favorites, power pop band Teenage Fan Club with De La Soul, sounded refreshingly new. We also get a score from Alan Silvestri, who had previously worked with Stephen Hopkins on Predator 2. I'm a big fan of Alan Silvestri, but his score here is very similar sounding to Predator 2, which is a bit distracting. If you want to make a whole night out of watching movies of that ilk, Judgment Night would make an absolute perfect double bill with another Universal picture released 10 months prior with Trespass, starring the two Ices, T and Q, William Sadler and Bill Paxton, and directed by the master of these kinds of movies, Walter Hill. It definitely has the same vibe and mood, almost as if they were in the same universe. Another one would be 1987's Enemy Territory, which I previously reviewed, link in the description. The movie may have less production value, but does have the same gritty feel to it, and has Ray Parker Jr. as your lead. Jan Michael Vincent in a wheelchair playing a crazy Vietnam vet who gang members are afraid of, and a grandma shooting a machine gun from her apartment window. Where can you watch Judgment Night? Warner Archive released this Blu-ray about 5 years ago, but you can also stream it for free on TUBI. I went back into my video archive and I have an added bonus for you. Since there's no special features whatsoever on the Blu-ray release, I do have an old interview with cast members and some behind-the-scenes footage I haven't seen uploaded on here, so I will put that on my secondary channel, Grindhouse Funhouse Archives, where you'll find an array of old movie trailers and interviews like this one. I plan to add more in the future. And you know, while you'll be there watching it, do hit the subscribe button so you can be in the loop as to when I'll upload new videos. It's nice to know that young movie nerd me can put to good use all the stuff he recorded off TV shows like Entertainment Tonight or E! News back in the day to good use. So is this a 10 out of 10 movie? Of course not. It's 20 minutes too long, and having your final showdown in a brightly lit market after crawling out of the most dangerous part of the city where it was all claustrophobic, being stuck in a dark, menacing, desolate hood seems a bit anticlimactic. The cat and mouse game between Frank and Fallon goes on for way too long. It loses steam by the end. Its class commentary is suspect at best, but it's not the kind of movie where you get too deep with that subject matter, although when Fallon tears Ray a new asshole before he pushes him off the roof was pretty satisfying.
Chicks like you just sail through life reading about people like me in the newspaper. Hey! You're in a different place now, motherfucker. Yeah, $100,000 might buy you out in the North Shore. Down here, pussy, that means shit. This is my fucking world.
There are genuine tense moments to be had. Obviously, the location sells it really well. To think they were only 10 miles from their front door. And there's one thing to learn from this movie is this: don't ever take a shortcut in 1993 close to an inner city. So that was my review for Judgment Night. Go visit all my socials at Great House Funhouse in the comment section below. Let me know your thoughts on Judgment Night and what is your favorite hood movie. Do let me know. More movie reviews coming up soon, so stay tuned. Thanks for watching, and I'll say to you, ciao bye for now.